Before I start my chat on the topic I'm about to talk about, I want to say that this video and what is said in this video does not reflect the beliefs of the university that I attend or any of the companies that I'm affiliated with. This is my own personal belief. I want to post a video about this topic because I feel like people would rather watch a video than read something on it because people are lazy. But I want to speak a little bit on the recent tragedy that occurred in Connecticut. I've read a lot of posts, a lot of things, I heard a lot of things about what people believe is the reason for this tragedy. And I've heard things such as we need stricter gun laws, gun handling laws. I've seen things saying that we need to bring Christianity back into the classroom and start praying in the classroom. But I want to talk about my personal opinion on this. A couple days ago, I think the day of the tragedy, I heard one of the on-air personalities saying that when the brother of the perpetrator was interviewed, the brother said that he was autistic-like. I would have to say that, first of all, this bothers me. I would not wish to hear anybody say that until it is known for sure that the boy is actually diagnosed with autism. I feel like as a country we are looking for an answer to why this occurred. And I believe that sometimes we tend to scapegoat and put blame on or just quickly attribute something as the cause. For example, the gun control, the Christianity in the classroom. I feel like this mental illness is becoming a scapegoat. I want to pose the question about our society's view on mental illness or psychological discord, psychological problems. I believe that as a society, we have a very negative stigma attached to people who have a mental illness or have been diagnosed with a mental illness, or people who are seeking therapy. People are taking drugs for a chemical imbalance, something causing a mental illness. I know this because we often say that these people are crazy, or if they have autism or mental retardation, that they're disabled. And who really wants to be labeled as crazy or disabled? The next thing that we see, which is true, is that people who have had therapy for certain mental illnesses or psychological problems, they have a harder time adopting children. They may possibly have a harder time getting jobs. I know that, speaking from an insurance standpoint, that someone who is taking drugs for mental illness, another insurance company may not want to pick them up because they are too much of a risk. They will cost too much. And the fact of the matter is, a lot of people do need to be treated for their mental illness. I also want to pose the question, the main question is, had these perpetrators of violent crimes like the one in Connecticut, Columbine, or Colorado been treated or suggested to see a therapist when their parents or others had noticed kind of odd behaviors in them? If they had seen a therapist or a counselor or a psychiatrist or a psychologist, would this have happened? We will never know. But I would like you guys to think about that, because a lot of times the action is not the problem. There's something underlying the action. Actually, most of the times, most of the things that we do are a result of something else. Rarely ever do people actually act on how they feel or what they're really feeling. So I would like you guys just to resonate in that thought. That's definitely my thought on that, is that we as a society need to really change the stigma attached to people who seek therapy or seek counseling, so that people can feel safe and they feel heard and they feel like they're not different, or they're not odd, or there's nothing wrong with them. And I believe that if people are able to do that and they don't feel judged by doing that, that our society would have a lot fewer problems, possibly fewer drug problems, possibly, fewer family crises and divorce and whatever you want to speak to. But the take home for this one is, and I would like you guys to think, is in times of those major massacres and we're seeking for problem, and we're blaming it on gun, we're blaming it on religion, maybe go down to the individual a little bit more and think about what that individual was going through. By no means am I justifying the action, because it is not okay. The actions of those individuals actually committing violent crimes, it is not okay. It is not okay at all. But I would wonder how things would turn out if maybe when people had noticed something odd about that individual, their parents, their family members, and said, hey, I see that you're not in your room, you're not out in the family, you're more with the family, you're out, in your room, isolated. Let's talk about that. Let's bring in someone who could really help you with that. I feel like we would have a few less problems. And that's my thought on that. So, thanks.